Welcome to Twilight on CRTV News. I am Moki Edwin Kinzaka in Yaoundé. Today we shall be asking if it is time for traditional rulers of the northwest and southwest regions of the country to go back home after a meeting that was convened yesterday by the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji. The paramount leader of the Batangas of the southwest region of the country, Honorable Chief Norbert Mbile, shall be answering that question. We shall also talk about a HAWKER, a mentor, a university graduate who is doing marvelous things to encourage young ones. That is Longti Fopa Thierry. Thanks for watching Twilight on CRTV News. Now, there have been stories of a leopard that was killed in the south region and abandoned or dumped somewhere. People have been asking who really did that and for what reasons. Let's now move on to the south region to find out from Ghislaine Alene, our correspondent there, what really happened to that leopard. Ghislaine, bonsoir.
Bonsoir, Moki.
What happens with that leopard, Ghislaine?
Moki, selon les informations recueillies sur le terrain s'agissant de cette panthère, ce sont des chasseurs du village Moyomossi et dans le département du Djelobo qui auraient découvert la carcasse de la panthère lors d'une partie de chasse. Donc, ces derniers ont pris sur eux de ramener cette grande trouvaille au village. Alertés, les responsables de la délégation départementale de la forêt et de la faune se sont saisis de l'affaire et une fois à leur tour sur le terrain, ils ont alerté la délégation régionale de la forêt et de la faune. Mais Moki, malheureusement, à leur arrivée, les éléments de la délégation régionale de la forêt et de la faune, eh bien, ils n'ont plus trouvé l'animal, mais ils ont plutôt trouvé des populations qui avaient déjà partagé, n'est-ce pas, cette viande, cette panthère qui a été dépécée et la viande a été partagée aux populations. Voilà en quelque sorte ce qui s'est passé au village Moyomossi dans le Djelobo.
So what has the authorities there, the authorities of wildlife and forestry done so far, Ghislaine?
Oui, selon les informations donc, nous avons recueillies auprès de la déléguée régionale de la forêt et de la faune, Séverine Adja Minkaranko, la loi faunique en vigueur prévoit que lorsqu'un animal de type A, c'est-à-dire comme cette panthère-là, hautement protégée, viendrait à être abattu, eh bien, la viande revient automatiquement aux populations riveraines, tandis que les trophées, que sont la peau, les sabots, les ongles, par contre, reviennent à l'administration faunique. Mais malheureusement, Moki, jusqu'à présent, ces trophées-là restent introuvables. Donc, ce qui est donc fait sur le terrain, Moki, actuellement, les investigations sont menées en collaboration avec les autorités locales et les forces de maintien de l'ordre en vue de déterminer les circonstances exactes du massacre de cette panthère qui est hautement protégée et surtout retrouver les responsables de cet acte hautement condamné par l'administration.
Now, before you leave us, I just want to find out from you, Ghislaine Alene, do we have so many of those animals there again in the south region?
Pardon, Moki?
Do we have so many of those animals, those leopards, again in the south region?
Pas vraiment, Moki, je n'ai pas toutes les informations, mais tout ce que je sais, c'est que la panthère est hautement protégée par l'administration faunique, la délégation départementale et même régionale, parce que nous avons reçu le délégué hier et elle nous a donné beaucoup d'informations s'agissant de la panthère.
I want to thank you very much, Ghislaine Alene, for being there. Thank you very much, Ghislaine.
Oui, merci, Moki, pour cet appel.
Now, let's take another break, and we shall be having here the paramount leader of the Batangas of the southwest region of the country, the Honorable Chief Norbert Mbile, to talk to us about the meeting they had with the Minister of Territorial Administration yesterday to ask them to go back home and prepare for elections. Let's have a break.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
Très heureuse de vous retrouver pour ce nouveau numéro de Carré Social. À la une, lutte contre les maladies prostatiques au Cameroun, une campagne de dépistage de ces maladies.
Comment se faire détecter? Ça signifie qu'à partir de 40 ans, pour des sujets dont un membre de la famille a eu à développer un cancer, il est préférable de passer voir un médecin. Les causes peuvent être multiples.
La couleur verte est la couleur la plus présente dans la nature, n'est-ce pas? On l'associe à l'espoir et à la chance.
Toujours ce 17 novembre, le monde célèbre la journée mondiale du souvenir de la circulation routière. Placée sous le thème « La vie n'est pas une pièce de rechange de véhicules ». CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
The wearing of face masks in public places will be mandatory until further notice.
Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganji is encouraging traditional rulers to go back to the regions, that is the northwest and southwest regions of the country, and get set for the elections that may be convened soon. That's the regional elections and the elections into the House of Chiefs. Among those who were invited there yesterday was the paramount leader of the Batangas of the southwest region. Before we come back to him, let's have the report that was done by Kilan Dandifon on that meeting yesterday chaired by Minister Paul Atanganji.
Territorial Administration Minister Paul Atanganji meets the traditional rulers from the northwest and southwest on high instructions whose ultimate objective is seeking peace.
How do we accompany our funds back to their fundings, their villages? This is a major concern expressed by His Excellency President Paul Biya and His Excellency Prime Minister, Head of Government.
The traditional rulers from the two security-troubled regions are ready for compromising concessions for the sake of peace.
The funds must forgive those who yesterday harassed them. They must forgive those who desecrated their palaces. And in some cases, some sort of purification has to be done.
Through the meeting, I got to understand that government don't want to act like a robust machinery that decides on its own, but wanted to find out from us what it can do to enable us back to our palaces.
The meeting that took place in two phases within the context of limiting the spread of coronavirus pandemic was attended by prominent members of government and parliamentarians from the two regions.
Kilandani Fund reporting now. The paramount leader of the Batangas of the Southwest region, Honorable Chief Norbert Mbile, is here with us in the studio. Chief, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Now, what did you discuss yesterday with the Minister of Territorial Administration, Paul Atanganji?
Well, the consultation meeting to which we were convened on the behest of the head of state, as we were told, was on a topic that I think made us happy, because we felt that for once our welfare was a worry of government, and they called us to find out what they could do at short notice to enable us regain our vacated palaces and our communities. I think it was very welcoming. I was very happy that government was worried about the fact that we had left our communities in a hurry. Some of us, our palaces were completely destroyed. Others, their lives were threatened. And in all the corners of Cameroon that we are now some sort of taking refuge, it was thought that the Minister of Territorial Administration should consult with us and see if we had some suggestions, and also listen to some proposals from the government on how we could progressively go back, of course, not eliminating all the security concerns that such a move would demand.
Honorable Chief, what do you mean by progressively go back?
It is known that some areas for now are not as safe as that, but what were hinted on was that if we could not get to our respective villages, respective chiefdoms, we could at least start by getting into our regional headquarters. For the Northwest, Bamenda; for the Southwest, Boya. And that from there, in respect of the coming elections, we will have relevance, because the constituency being the region, we will have relevance as per our presence. There we will be able to take full part in those elections. For those who can go to their divisional headquarters, the better. And of course, for those who can go to their sub-divisional headquarters, still better. And why not their villages? You know that there are some areas which are quite safe by now. And in fact, some chiefs have returned, others cannot return, and others need some kind of encouragement. You know, the idea of security, I would say, is a progressive theme. It starts by the person himself building up courage to say, let me do this. It starts from there. And then, of course, there are stages. You don't just go and stay. You go, maybe the first time you go, you may not even spend the night. You go and greet your people, arrange how you are going to come back, because a chief who has been away for the time that we have been away cannot just come back without a ceremony. Traditionally, you understand what I'm saying. So maybe you go, let them see you that you are still alive and that you are still fine. You may go during that first journey with some security, because you don't know what you're going to meet. And then you discuss with your villagers, with your subjects, and then you go back and prepare how you come back the next time. You may spend a night or two with still the security measures well thought out, so you don't take risk. You know that we don't really know as at now what type of security situation we would meet. So that's what I mean by progressive. And then the next time, it may be on the third journey, you say, okay, the village is welcoming their chief. That ceremony, of course, which will involve cleansing, rituals, and other things, speeches. Maybe some children who had joined the separatists would have come back to the village. They may be given a chance to talk, and all that will help build an atmosphere of reunion, coming back together as one people. We were told, we were reminded by the minister yesterday that even if it has to go to the point of chiefs giving food to even those who were yesterday members of the separatist groups, we should think along those lines. I think the feelers are that of peace and togetherness and oneness and pardon.
Was it a meeting where you went to listen to instructions from the government, from the President of the Republic through Minister Tanganji, or you had an opportunity to lay your grievances, your complaints, and your expectations?
Oh, no, it wasn't a top-to-down meeting. As I said, it was a consultation meeting. It started, if you want to know, by a welcome address by the minister, and then the floor was open. Chiefs spoke as free as they could speak, and after that, our elected representatives spoke, and then we all concluded, and the people were free to give their points of view. You know, in every chiefdom, the reality is different. Elsewhere, it could be that it's freer. In other areas, it could be less freer. And really, chiefs also have differed in the way they have been involved in the crisis in general. If I take myself as an example, I have been very vocal. I have been telling my people my mind on
insisting
TV.
that they should open schools.
They should open schools. I had a campaign.
Yes.
I had a special campaign for schools not to be abandoned. And you know very well that that was an item that the separatists took as a fighting point. And I can tell you that that has brought me a lot of difficulties in terms of security. So people like myself, I would think we may not know where the danger may come. So we will have to be, even though I can tell you Indian Division is relatively calm, my area is relatively calm, but that doesn't mean I will just go. And coupled with the fact that I have no palace. My palace was not just destroyed, it was
that's what I was coming to. When the state is asking you, Honorable Chief Norbert Mbile, the paramount leader of the Batangas, to go back to your palace, who is going to build it back?
Oh, well,
did they tell you anything about the reconstruction commission that is led by Minister Porter Song?
I personally put that point up. I made the minister, I reminded him, of course he knows, I reminded him that there were chiefs like myself who had no house, no refuge to go back to. But I think that before even thinking of reconstruction, the general idea is not to go right to your village, is to start progressively.
If you went to Bamenda now, to Boya, where are you going to put up? You have a house there, your personal house. I mean, there should be measures to accompany you, Chief.
No, you know, Southwest Chiefs are not as endowed as maybe the Northwest Chiefs, who may have not just more means, but more willing elites and subjects to accompany them. In the Southwest, it may be difficult, but if we can rent houses in Yaoundé, or Douala, or Bafoussam, or wherever we are, why don't we look in terms of renting these same houses in Bamenda and Boya, or in Kumba, or
elsewhere? Now, we are receiving here in the studio with us the paramount leader of the Batangas of the Southwest region, Honorable Chief Norbert Mbile, to talk to us about plans to go back home. We're going to have a break, and when we come back, we shall continue discussing on the possibilities of going back home, and we shall be asking, first of all, if the youth, the young ones, will now accept the funds, the traditional rulers back home, and the relationship between them and the administration. Let's have a break. We're discussing the possibility of Northwest and Southwest funds, traditional rulers at the auxiliaries of the administration going back to their divisions, to their palaces and areas of origin. Before we left for this break, I was asking the Honorable Chief Norbert Mbile the possibility of him as an individual whose palace was burned and who was, can I say, Chief, that you were vomited by your people? That is the reason you left?
No, no. It is known that The fateful day my palace was burnt, the separatist groups came in their numbers to my village, held the village siege, and sent somebody, because I still don't enjoy network in my village, sent my little nephew with one of them, who at that time we did not even know he was one of them, a rider, to go where there was network, called me and said that I should send them money. If not, they were going to burn my house, my palace, and kill all my family members. It was a very stressful day for me, at the end of which, with all the begging and what, my palace was still burnt. Fortunately, no family member died. But you can see that it was not my people. I was kind of singled out as the first among the elites or the inhabitants of the area whom, if they subdued, they were ready to use my response to tell others who may have been who may drag their feet on assisting them, that if Chief Mbile can give us money,
give money, what about you?
Yeah, what about you? So fortunately, I had the courage to continue to refuse to give money, even though I knew that it was going to cost me the material loss of my palace. But I thought that was a sacrifice I had to make, to send a message that
you're not sponsoring terrorism.
I won't sponsor. We did not have a meeting before they decided to do what they were doing. They didn't ask for our opinions, and that is something they ought to have done. And if they did, we would have advised them the best way to ask for your rights. We know there is no country where the people would say that all their rights are being attended to. But then there is a way that is progressive, that is building, that is constructive, that's unifying in asking for those rights. It's not in killing yourselves, destroying what your parents have kept, and all that, your children not going to school, economy down. Those are the things we decry and think we'll continue to say no to.
When you left your palace, left your locality with your children, with some of your, how were you received out of the village? It may have been so difficult. I mean, and
you know, Moki, when you are faced with the kind of situation the chiefs are faced with, you realize you are alone. You are first alone. Even for the chiefs of the Northwest, who have the many wives which they have, and who move with all their policies, I was discussing with one of my colleagues of the Northwest, and he was telling me how expensive it was when he moved about 50 people and had to rent space in a strange land for all those people to live at least quasi-comfortably. You can imagine how expensive it was. With some communities where the tradition is that the subjects come around their chief and help, it could improve situations. But you know, traditions differ. In the Southwest, it is not a secret that we do not enjoy a community accompaniment that areas like Northwest enjoy. So you find that when a chief has those challenges, he is alone. And you realize that if you lose your life, it is your wife and your children first who suffer. So it is something you have to decide on your own. And you know very well. Friends would say, what were you still doing there? Why didn't you escape when something happens to you? So, but when you escape, they say, oh, well, they may help. I understand. 4 years is not 4 days.
They
may help. Yes, people may start helping, but resources to
get
shot.
I understand you are an auxiliary at the administration, and the government had a duty also with the assistance given to help you, to assist the traditional institutions. What was the situation like?
Yes, this is an area where some chiefs may have felt abandoned. But I want to say that the little help that government gave us, we are very grateful. I say this because at that time, government itself was besieged. It is not a crisis that the government prepared for. In fact, nobody knew that it would get to the level it has gotten. You can imagine the costs in terms of arms, in terms of human loss, in terms of material loss, government houses and so on. Economy destroyed because people had to escape. I'm not speaking for government, but as a chief, the macro government structure is a reflection of the micro village structure. If you cannot have certain inputs in the village, you cannot be able to impact materially a sinister situation like loss of security or a war, as we can comfortably call what has happened to us as war. So we are still, let me not say that we have lost hope. I think the meeting we had with the Minister of Territorial Administration reminded many of us that government had not given up on us and that they were still thinking of how, within the scope of limited resources, how they could accompany us. I think that is, for me, I consider that step one. Step one, how we could get closer and closer. And I remember on many occasions, the Minister of Territorial Administration during the meeting invoked the reconstruction program set by the head of state and being coordinated by one of our sons, Minister Tazong. And we thought that it was within the auspices of such a program that final conclusions can be made concerning people like us who've lost all our houses, or most of it, or whose economy have been lost. You can't only think of houses. What of our farms? What of our own locally based economies which have completely been lost? How have we been surviving since we left the little house, the few houses we put up? Are the rent still coming? The few palm farms we had and cassava and cocoa. You know, I mean, it's
Babungo, if my memory is not failing me, we saw the population come.
If you know how it transpires. You know, I was telling my subjects the other day, they're gone. Some of them were even buried alive. They were witches and wizards. In my area, I know names of women, especially women, who were buried alive because they were accused of having witchcraft.
Now, Chief, we have seen that divisional officers and senior divisional officers, a lot of them have stayed on the spot, maybe because they have the security. If you are given that type of protection, that type of security, would you accept to go? Or do your population want to come closer to you to be with you?
I think the answer is along the lines you are suggesting. More and more posts of security would help. And I want you to know, maybe some people are thinking that the chiefs were vomited by their population because they had to escape. No, no. You are as traditionally impacted as any other Northwestern, and you know very well that even when a chief is not very much loved, the aura of a chief goes beyond that personal impact. No. And as I had said, when insecurity settles, no matter what you do, even soldiers, there are times when in war, withdrawal is a tactical move. I had told you, I'm sure you remember in one of your interviews with me, that I considered my withdrawal to Yaoundé as a tactical move. Yeah, tactical withdrawal. And I have been doing my little to show them that I will not use a gun, I will not use a machete, but I'll use my ideas, I'll use government structures like CRTV and other structures to send out my arguments, to express myself and make people know that a bad thing remains a bad thing.
But in all of this, we have spoken about the ability to have the use force to protect civilians. But there's the other pedagogic aspect of it, that of convincing these children in the bushes to drop their guns, to go to the disarmament and the centers. Do you discuss with them, your subjects, your children, your relatives, and Cameroonians who have taken up arms against the state? Do you try to convince them to please drop your guns?
Yes, of course. One of the major activities I've been engaged in is to get as many of my children out of the bushes. And I'm one of those who've been encouraging other people, chiefs and elites, that when they call you, because they always call you for ask for support, and when you don't give, they threaten to do this or that. When they call you, tell them that the only support you can give them is that which will enable them come out of the bushes and go to the center. And some of them, and you know, many don't really want to go to the center. They consider it may be a little failure, having been promised silver and gold by those who got them into the fighting, and having not gotten that. They feel that they have lost so much, and going to the center is like a declaration of failure. But no, we tell them, government has in plan to do this, and government resources are also limited. So we say that it is better to talk to these children, and if they want to come out, we assist them. We have given, I have been part of, at my divisional level, I've been part of a group that is involved in facilitating children's coming out. Sometimes they need, sometimes you wouldn't believe, they don't even have dresses to come out and wear and look like normal human beings. When they come out, they are in shreds. So you have to carry dresses to start from there, then transport. Then, of course, it's not easy to get the administration, the military, to be aware that we are going to do this at this time, this number of children will be waiting at this point, let them accompany us, and so on. Sometimes it is very tricky because it could generate into an accident, but we thank God that we've been succeeding. Many of the children, I would not want to call names, especially in my area, who are today in the DDL center as a result of this common initiative action that we've taken from the highest level of my political line to some of us, and even below us, to the children, to those in the village. We've all been working. And you may see, if you go to the DDL center, just looking at where the majority of them are from, you would know what efforts are being made by certain people about certain things.
We are going to be celebrating 1 minute, and I want to indicate that in 1 minute from now, shall be having Longti Fopa-Thierry, a mentor of children. He himself, a university graduate, decided to go hawking and helping others. Now, what message would you be passing to your colleagues, Chief, as far as going back to their fondoms, to their palaces is concerned?
Within the auspices of the coming elections, organization of the coming elections, I want to say that it incumbes on all of us to go back, because all of us are going to be participants. As much as possible, every chief should go back. We do not know the timetable of the elections, but we say that from now, every chief who is out of his region should get back to his region. If he cannot get back to his division, why not his subdivision or his community? I think let us put demands to government, reasonable demands that would enable this file succeed. I'm looking at the eventuality of us achieving success, especially as the achievement of security is a process. It starts from you yourself, daunting the fear, the apprehensions, taking that decision to move. It starts. And when you start getting strategies. How do you do it? Those children in the bushes are our children. They may just have been intoxicated. Now, maybe they need us to speak to them. And when you speak, don't forget that they are either hiding a gun somewhere or a cutlass. So you know how to speak to them and make sure that you do not envenenate already a bad situation.
Honorable Chief Noben Bile, Paramount Leader of the Batangas of the Southwest Region, thanks very much for coming, Chief.
The pleasure is mine. Thanks for having me.
We're taking a break, and when we come back, we'll have Longsi Fopateri here in the studio. Let's have a break. Longsi Fopateri, a young Cameroonian, dynamic Cameroonian, after his studies up to university level, he decided to come and create jobs and help people. He did not want to be recruited by the government. He thought he could also help others. Now, Longsi Fopateri, you're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Moki Edwin Kizeka.
Nice
it's a pleasure.
Thank you, sir. Now, just tell us, who are you?
Okay, like you all heard, I'm Longsi Fopateri, a young entrepreneur. Some people call me T-Boy popularly, and they also call me Praise Machine because I'm also a worship minister.
Okay, you're a preacher, you're a worship minister, you preach?
Yeah, not preach, I preach in singing.
In singing?
Exactly.
Please, sing for us.
Okay. All right, okay, let me do a singing. Lord, I was born to testify that you are great. Lord, I was born to testify that you are brave. Lord, I was born to testify that you are nice and you never lie. Jesus.
Wow.
Thank you.
Beautiful voice there.
Thank you.
Now, Terry, what is the level of education?
All right, degree in English Modern Letters.
You speak well.
Thank you.
All right. After the degree, you decided to be on your own. Start then from there and tell us how you eventually succeeded up to this level.
All right, thank you very much. After my degree, I realized that being an orphan, I couldn't continue with my master's program because I had younger ones to take care of. And as a result, I had to go out there and to fend for myself, not just rely on the government, not just rely on people around, but I started up my business with 7,000 francs that my elder sister gave me. And I went ahead doing this business, trusting in God, relying on Him. And today, I can say I am not where I used to be. I went to the level of having a wheelbarrow, from hawking with my hands. Later
what
on,
were you selling?
Okay, I was selling things like bathing gloves, toothpaste, toothbrush, and after that, I got into rubber shoes, plastic shoes.
With your wheelbarrow, you succeeded and bought?
Yeah, sure, with my wheelbarrow.
Where were you selling?
My wheelbarrow, of course. I was selling at Chapelle Obili, to be precise, but moving around town.
And from there, where are you now?
From there, presently, I have a place at Chapelle Obili and at Acacia Market and also at Chateau. And I have lots of youths of which I've empowered and who are working with me. So right now, as I speak, some of them are there working.
How many of them?
There are 4 of them.
How do you empower them and what are they really doing?
Okay, I help youths to understand that they don't just have to rely on their parents, especially orphans, especially internally displaced youth, especially school dropouts, especially graduates who keep relying on the government instead of going out and doing something on their own. So I decided to take on that initiative. My enterprise is known as T-Boys Enterprise, whereby we help youths. We fund them, we give them some funds, for example, 50,000, for example, 20,000, whereby we help them start up a business and from there move forward. There are about 4 of them who are on their own right now.
I must tell you why I decided that you should come here is because I saw some of those internally displaced children and how much you've been doing to help them at your little level. When you give a child 20,000 francs, 50,000 francs, what do you expect him to do? And what training do you give that child?
All right, well, that's awesome. I teach by experience. So I let them understand that with those 20,000 francs, they can be able to have, an enterprise of close to $1 million in less than 2, 3, 4 years. And so when I give them that money, I take them to the market. When I take them to the market, I show them exactly what they can start up with, and I follow them up gradually. T-Boys Enterprise is out to follow them up. I follow them up daily. How much have you sold? You save this amount, you reinvest this amount. This is how you eat. This is how you manage your money. And as such, you keep growing. And we've been having several of them, moving from one level to the other, from 10,000, from 20,000 to 100 to 300 to 400,000 as capital. And that's growth. That's what T-Boy Enterprise is all about.
Have you had cases where maybe somebody you gave money to disappeared and did not come out successfully?
Oh, yeah, sure. I've had a case like that, but we obviously have such cases, but there are very few.
In those cases, what do you do? Do you start asking for the police, or you just say this has happened? And
well, what I do is that before we started, we had an agreement. And so all we do is that we keep following up so that they can work out this money. Now, for example, those who ate the money, I didn't throw them away. No, I brought them, and they sat under me and worked the money again. I was paying them 1,000 francs a day to an extent that they had close to 50 to 100,000, and they started up again. So I don't throw them.
What is T-Boy Enterprise really doing?
Okay, we are out to help youths.
What do you have there as facilities, and what do you use in helping you?
All right, we have, like I said, we deal with plastic shoes, whereby when someone comes in, we'll give you the capital, we'll get you into the business, and you start up.
Did you study the market requirements? Did you notice that people needed plastic shoes?
Yeah, and I know it's something that doesn't have a season. People need slippers all the time. So it's not seasonal. And so at all time is at a high demand. So that's why I decided to get into that.
You will stay with us here again, T-Boy. Very inspiring indeed, that a young man could imagine that if he gives 20,000 francs, 10,000 francs to somebody as capital, you'll be able to make it 2, 3, 4 years and make millions. He has done it. He's an example, and encouraging other youths like him to do just that. T-Boy, stay with us. Okay. We move right into the room.
CRTV News, ici, toute l'info.
Let's end up with Longtsi Thierry, who is an entrepreneur helping young ones in the nation's capital. Now, Thierry, what are the errors, the common errors committed by the young ones, those who help, when you assist them to create jobs or to do businesses?
All right. Many youths think they can make it in a day. So they always do not want to go through the pain, through the hardship they have to go through at the beginning. They always think that to be a Fosso Victor, to be a Foku, you can make it in a day. That's what they mostly think, and they are unable to manage their funds. They are unable to, somebody will sell probably 20,000 francs in a day and will want to spend 5, 6, 7,000 to buy a pair of shoes at the beginning. Those are some errors they do, and so when I see such things, I call them other, I make them to understand that to grow, you must learn how to manage your funds. You must learn how to spend less and invest more.
What is your own key to success? I mean, being there, you needed some, what are the challenges you went through? You needed some perseverance, you needed some, I mean, your classmates, this guy left university is selling junk shoes, as they call them, or slippers here, rubber shoes here. You went through so many challenges, maybe.
Oh, lots of challenges. It was so painful. My classmates laughed at me. Yeah, I must say it, except for my fiance, who was always there to encourage me. But my classmates, some of them really laughed at me. And they asked me, why can I not go and apply and teach? You're very intelligent. You were very intelligent in class. Why is it that you choose to go and be hawking and so on? Also, it was so painful. But I knew where I was going to. I had a vision. I had a focus. Despite the pain, despite the challenges, sometimes you will stroll around and at the end of the day, you won't be able, in fact, you will sell something lesser than the price you bought just to eat something that day. But I didn't give up. I kept persisting. I kept going on. I kept saving. I kept reinvesting. And I am not where I want to be, but I think I am not where I used to be.
Do you still see those your classmates who thought you, what did they tell you?
Oh yeah, some of them even come and borrow from me.
Well, it's not always good to say it. What about your responsibilities vis-a-vis or with the state of Cameroon, the taxes and so on? I hope you committed to them.
All right. Okay. I must say that we, as hawkers in a market, there are moments. Of course, all the time we pay. They come. The mairie comes and we pay. Is it tickets or yeah? Since I'm not I'm not yet in a shop. I'm just having a little place where I'm renting in the various markets. Yeah. That's my own. Let me say my own business strategy.
If you had to say. Well, it may be a secret. What is your worth now?
Okay. It's somehow a secret, but I must say.
Yeah. Okay. You're happy.
I'm fine. I'm forging ahead. Just to say, sir, that my encouragement before I leave this place is that. Young Cameroonians should not just depend on the government. The government can employ all Cameroonians. It will be so heavy for the government. Before you ask what the government has done for you, ask yourself, what have I done for my nation? Don't just think of traveling out of the country. If Fosso Victor could make it here, if many others, Congel, Cam and what have you, could make it in Cameroon, we can as well make it here in our nation. We just need to know who we are and forge out there. I want to also encourage the graduates not to just rely on the government, but to take the bold step, start little and grow, and you'll be wow. And also, I would like to have some partners who will join me, empower these youths. I always have a saying that I always say we have two sets of people. We have rich people and we have poor rich people. A rich man is someone who has made it and has a train of people he has helped to succeed. And a poor rich man is someone who has made it all alone and no one he can boast of making it with. So I'm encouraging others to join T-Boy Enterprise so that we empower these youths, these orphans, these internally displaced, these school dropouts, and what have you, these young people invest in business. We empower them and make them who they want to be.
Do you know the government has projects that they can also fund some of what you're doing?
It would be a wonderful
Get to the Ministry of Youth Affairs and Civic Education. You're a young man and the government has projects for you.
Okay.
I think they will do it.
Right.
Ladies and gentlemen, we're ending Twilight on CRTV News, but just to say that Longsi Fopa Thierry is a young Cameroonian who has decided with limited resources, a hawker. He sells shoes to assist other young Cameroonians to sell shoes and make it. Imagine. And now he's helping internally displaced persons, helping orphans. He gives you 10,000 start a business, 20,000 start a business, and he does the magic. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for watching Twilight on CRTV News. I am Moki Edwin Kinzeka in Yaoundé. Bye now.
CRTV News,